watching movies, jamming out. K-Flix 198.4 Fiction Radio.
Welcome back to K-Flix Fiction Radio. I'm your host, Shawn Kohne, and with me is my co-host, Dustin Weiskopf. And have we got an excellent show for you today. Now, Dustin, before we get started, I just have one quick question for you. As Sphincter says what?
Party on, Shawn. Not falling for that one.
Worth a shot. Worth a shot. Had to try it.
If that didn't give it away, we're talking about Wayne's World today.
I couldn't be happier to be talking about Wayne's World today and Crucial Taunt.
Crucial Taunt. That's right. The fake band inside this movie fronted by Tia Carrere in her breakout role.
Oh, yeah, as Cassandra. And boy, does she slay that role.
100%.
Dustin, for those that are completely in the dark here, what's Wayne's World about?
Wayne's World is the story of a couple of best buds from Aurora, Illinois, Wayne Campbell and Garth Algar, and they have their own show on cable access, Wayne's World, where they talk about all the happenings and rock and roll of the time. And this movie is about them getting tapped to go to the big leagues.
That's true. They get seduced by Rob Lowe and fully taken advantage of.
Man, Shawn, this is our 4th episode of this show, and it's already our 2nd one set in the early 90s where the big bad evil is definitely the corporate suit.
Well, you know, and that's not super surprising, all things considered, because we all know that corporate suits are the real evil.
I mean, there is something to be said. People were talking about this at the time, and I think, you know, a lot of times we think of a little bit later, the Napster era, the MP3, as sort of the beginning of the end of the music industry. But I think there was this big consolidation in the 90s where the same 10 songs by the same 10 bands, and people were getting sick of it.
That's true.
That said, without giving too much away, the boys in the movie do all right.
Yeah.
In the end, or in one of the endings.
I would argue 2 of the endings. The Scooby-Doo ending, they do all right as well.
That's true. You're absolutely correct. Yes. It's one of my favorite things about this film. I love a trick ending. I love the movie Clue. I love a trick ending.
Trick endings are very fun because you get to pick whichever one that you like best at the end of the day.
Yeah, for sure. And it fits into the world of this film so well because they do, and this is something maybe I'll talk more about later, but like in Wayne's World, not Wayne's World 2 as much, but in Wayne's World, they do the fourth wall breaking stuff so perfectly. It never feels like a full-on parody. It feels like its own thing. 2 gets more into parody world, but sequel's gonna have sequel problems.
Ain't that the truth? Although, as far as sequels go, I enjoy so many bits in this in the sequel to Wayne's World.
I'm with you there. I don't have any specific big problems with 2. It just none of it shines as hard as the first one. In terms of the story or the appeal of the characters.
I agree. And the audiences agreed when the movie came out because it did not make anywhere near the money the first one made.
Is that so?
Oh, yeah. Yeah, the first one, the worldwide gross was a whopping $183 million in 1992. So that's a staggering amount of money for a Saturday Night Live sketch movie.
And man, I'm sure that set expectations for years to come. Sorry, Lauren, Ladies Man didn't pan out as well for you.
It was the 8th highest grossing movie in the U.S. for 1992 with $121 million U.S. gross.
That is staggering. It's hard for a comedy to get a theatrical release these days.
And then the second movie, unfortunately, had a $48 million U.S. gross and a $72 million worldwide gross.
Still not too bad at all.
No, on a budget of $40 million, they still came out in the profits, so that's pretty solid.
That one was up against, I think I read, and timeline-wise it works, up against the likes of Mrs. Doubtfire.
Oh, yeah, it's going to be hard to succeed against that. That was a juggernaut.
Which, I hadn't thought of this until right this moment, but Aerosmith heavily featured in both of those. They were.
Yeah.
Well, their music, at least.
Well, Aerosmith is physically in Wayne's World 2, but they're not physically in Doubtfire.
Dude Looks Like a Lady is in both movies. That track, it intros them in Wayne's World, and it's like it's the theme of Robin Williams becoming Mrs. Doubtfire.
Yeah, it was all over the trailer. That was such a trailer song.
Yeah, for sure.
A cool thing that we can talk about for Wayne's World 2 is they have a fictional radio station called WPIG.
Yeah, the pig.
We have Handsome Dan and Mr. Scream as a part of the fictional radio station.
Those two characters I have things to say about. Those two characters specifically, because first of all, I just watched this movie in prep for this episode and hadn't seen it in many, many, many years. So I did not remember the Handsome Dan inclusion at all, let alone the joke setup and payoff. And I instantly recognized it as Harry Shearer's voice, right? So in the first 5 minutes of the movie, they're like, oh man, that Handsome Dan must be so hunky and buff.
Yeah.
And I'm like, oh, I know it's Harry Shearer. And then the way he appears all sweaty and like short in the frame of the camera. So good. Such a good payoff.
And I love that they just assume that it's Ted McGinley too when he walks out of the booth.
Yeah. Was this so did Married with Children happen in between the two films or something? Because I noticed not only was Ed O'Neill back with another speaking role, but Ted McGinley showed up as well.
I'm not sure what season and what year Marcy swapped husbands. I don't know where that lines up.
He wasn't even the original guy.
Right, exactly. Yeah, her first husband's name was Steve, I think. Steve,
That's
and
right.
then Jefferson Darcy.
I totally forgot about that.
Yeah, So I don't know what year that switch happened.
Gotcha.
Not offhand.
I just, anytime I see two actors from a same thing and another same thing at the same time, I go, I wonder what the connection was there.
But speaking of, Wayne's World 2 has way more actor cameos, I feel, than Wayne's World 1 did, because I don't know if you spotted it, but Bob Odenkirk and Robert Schmeigel are the two nerds that Wayne and Garth get stuck with backstage at Aerosmith.
That's right. That was another great unexpected cameo moment for me. And our guy from a couple episodes ago, Tim Meadows.
Yeah, Sammy Davis Jr.
Back as well as Sammy Davis Jr. Spot on. Was this like Christopher Walken's first comedy?
Ooh, I don't know.
It's got to be early in that trajectory for him, because I've never seen him play it so straight.
Yeah, he's still really intimidating and scary in this.
Yeah.
When he's chasing after the guys in the Village People outfits, it's like, I wouldn't want that guy chasing after me. He's looking pretty scary.
Much like in the first one, how they clearly went, okay, we need a pretty guy, Rob Lowe. Mm-hmm. They went, we need a scary guy, Christopher Walken. Because that's what he did up to this point. It was legitimately frightening.
Love me some Walken.
We're kind of jumping all over the place here between the movies, but another thing just that I wanted to mention that I had forgotten in the time since I'd last seen it was I forgot how much of it hinged on Garth being like a gadget guy, like a gadgeteer. And I love his little gadgets, and I missed his gadgets in Wayne's World 2.
Yeah, he doesn't do any of that in Wayne's World 2, does he?
No. I mean, he has great bits, and in many ways, Garth makes these movies for me. If it was Wayne alone, it wouldn't be the same at all.
Yeah, I would agree with that. Back to the music, though. The soundtrack for the first movie was wildly successful, Dustin. I don't know if you're aware of this.
Not really, no. I didn't look into sales or anything like that.
It sold 2 million copies, so it went double platinum.
Compilation album, double platinum.
And it hit #1 on the Billboard 200.
Wow. No kidding.
You got banger after banger on this thing. It's Black Sabbath, Queen, Alice Cooper, Jimi Hendrix. You got all kinds of good stuff. Gary Wright even re-recorded Dreamweaver for this movie, so it is a slightly different version that we hear.
But it's used so well.
Oh, it's so
the
great.
Dreamweaver got me so hard both times.
It's such a perfect joke.
Yeah. Oh, no, this soundtrack is awesome.
It's one of those soundtracks that's so vast in the songs that they don't even include all of them in the release. For example, the Ugly Kid Joe song, Everything About You, is left off of the soundtrack, which is a major bummer. I love that song.
That's true, and it's not an unimportant song in the film.
No, not at all.
It's totally memorable.
Yeah, I would love to have it on my double vinyl that I'm holding up right now.
Ooh, look at that shiny record.
Right?
So it's a double vinyl. Is it expanded at all from the original release?
It does not, no.
So it's exactly as they made it.
Yeah, it's just a multicolored vinyl release. One of the discs is blue and one of the discs is pink.
Oh, cool.
But I'm also bummed because it only has 2 of the 4 Crucial Taunt songs on there, because 2 of them have never been released in their full form to the general public, which I find frustrating again. I find it frustrating. We're back to the Sons of Thunder. I just want the fucking songs.
Which 2 songs are on the official soundtrack?
The ones that are on the soundtrack are Ballroom Blitz and Why You Want to Break My Heart. And then the 2 that are not on the soundtrack are Touch Me and Fire.
Fire. Yes.
Yeah.
So, Shawn, Crucial Taunt, Cassandra's band, they're not just on-screen extras, right? These are real musicians.
They are actual musicians, yes. It's not like the Lone Rangers, for example, where all 3 of them were actors and then they were, supported by actual musicians doing the recording of the song. Tia Carrere, she sings the actual vocals for these songs, which she totally nails. I love the way that her voice sounds on these songs. I'm going to talk so much about that later on. On lead guitar, we have a guy named George Foster. And I have little interesting tidbits about the 3 members of Crucial Taunt that are not Tia. This guy, George Foster, he played guitar on some of the score from the 1994 Little Rascals movie. And I have some clips for us to listen to. This first clip comes from the 2 bullies of the movie testing out their derby race car.
Oh, I totally remember this.
Oh, yeah. And then I got one more little clip here.
Is this also Little Rascals?
Yeah, same. Yeah, it's Little Rascals again. So that's the scene where they're designing what their own derby car is going to look like on the Etch-a-Sketch.
Man, I don't remember all those wailing guitar licks from watching that movie as a kid. But that movie, also by Penelope Spheris, by the way, the director of this film.
That's got to be the connection there. She was like, man, I love those tasty licks you were laying down for Crucial Taunt.
Oh, yeah.
I need you to come in here and spice up my film.
Absolutely. But man, criminally underrated. That Little Rascals film, it was, nobody loved it at the time, if I remember, because it was just kind of a reboot of this thing that our grandparents watched or whatever. But that's a good film.
Yeah, it was fun.
That is a solid movie. Yeah.
On drums for Crucial Taunt, we have a man named Anthony Fox. His fun fact is that he mixed all 32 tracks for the Guitar Hero Aerosmith game.
Wow, so the Aerosmith ties run deep too.
Pretty cool.
That's funny. So these are like studio savvy folks as well.
Yeah, it appears to me that Anthony Fox is more in the producing, mixing, editing of stuff these days as opposed to remaining a drummer.
Yeah. Get out before your body breaks, right?
Yes, 100%. However, the other guitarist, Mark Ferrari, great goddamn name.
Great name.
So he plays guitar in a rock band that has stopped and started many times throughout their career, but they are going presently. And the band name is called Keel.
Okay.
Their second album was produced by Gene Simmons.
Oh.
And it featured their biggest hit, Right to Rock. And I'm going to play a clip of this song, and you're going to hear the Kiss influence.
Okay.
See?
Totally. With a sipping a little of AC/DC and maybe
Dash of Twisted Sister.
Yeah, sipping a little of that Kool-Aid for sure.
And then Tia Carrere, she's no slouch either. She put out her debut album in 1993, so the same year that Wayne's World 2 came out. Mm-hmm. It went platinum in the Philippines.
Oh.
And it features both of the songs from Wayne's World that they released publicly, Ballroom Blitz and Why You Want to Break My Heart.
Okay, yeah.
And then she released 4 more studio albums in the 2000s, and her 2 most recent ones have won Grammys.
Wow, so the hits keep coming.
Yeah, she doesn't play around. She's got a lot of musical talent.
She's for real, you can totally tell, and it's the only way these songs work in the film.
Uh-oh, Dustin. Looks like Wayne's World has our phone lines going totally mental.
Is that what this little red light is?
That's what that light is.
I never knew.
We've been ignoring it the other times we've been on the air.
I didn't know we could take calls.
Yeah.
Oh, let's take a call. This is so exciting.
You're live on K-Flix. What's your name and from where are you calling?
Stacy Temple, Ottumwa, Iowa.
And Stacy, you must be calling because you're a big Wayne's World and Crucial Taunt fan, right?
Oh, it's a little bit more than that, actually. So I am a practicing Campbell Algar, which means it's my religion.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, so I was born Casey, but I legally had my name changed to Stacy in homage to the psycho hose beast herself.
Okay. Now, other than the name change, how else has Wayne's World impacted your existence, Stacy?
So a couple of years ago, I took a pilgrimage to Illinois from Ottumwa, and I was out searching for the Great Spindle. Are you familiar with the spindle?
Are you talking about the car spike?
Yes, it's a spike with 8 cars stacked atop. It's a sculpture, and it is very important to my people. You go, you make the pilgrimage, and you pray, and it gives you clarity of what you're supposed to do with your life, how to best serve, the dream woman and the psycho host beast and Glenn. And unfortunately, by the time I got there, the infidels had taken it down.
That's a damn shame.
It was. I cried a bit, but then I picked myself back up and I went searching for something else. And so I went to the second most holiest of lands, Milwaukee.
Oh, Algonquin for the good land.
I get to Milwaukee and it's not anything that I expected it to be. I wasn't allowed to just enter a bottling plant and frolic about. I didn't have a chance encounter with Alice Cooper. It was a real letdown, man, a real letdown. So I picked myself up again and I went home to Ottumwa. And I found the only thing that brings me any sort of comfort.
Oh, and what's that, Stacy?
I found a local watering hole where they do karaoke. And I get my scorpion bowl, and every night of the week, I go and I sing a song.
What song is that?
Well, I sing the song that the gods hear when they enter Valhalla, Ballroom Blitz by Crucial Taunt.
All right, yeah, Ballroom Blitz. That makes sense. You're super into Wayne's World. Of course you're going to do Ballroom Blitz at the karaoke.
Oh, of course. And I mean, nobody is more musically talented than Crucial Taunt. Nobody even comes close. Some more mainstream bands have tried to cover some of their stuff. The Sweet made a pretty valiant effort.
Yeah, I'm really going to hate to burst your bubble here, Stacy, but the Sweet did the original version and Crucial Taunt is the cover song.
No, I don't think that's no.
Yeah.
Okay, well, if they didn't write Ballroom Blitz, then how do you explain the absolute masterpiece of Fire? How do you explain that?
Fire that's a pretty famous Jimi Hendrix song.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Okay, pretty famous Jimi Hendrix song. Okay, then tell me about Touch Me. You can't sit there and tell me that Crucial Taunt did not write Touch Me.
Yeah, unfortunately, that's a little-known 80s band called Private Life that originated that song.
Okay, all right, fine. Well, you're not going to tell me that they didn't write Why You Want to Break My Heart.
Stacy, unfortunately, I am going to tell you Why You Want to Break My Heart is originally by a singer-songwriter named Dwight Twilley. Yeah, in fact, Crucial Taunt, they didn't really write any songs.
See, now, Stacy, I can tell you're a little bit blown away by this news, but if you keep listening to K-Flix, I'm going to drop the really big reveal later on, huh? She's excited, Dustin.
Yeah, definitely. Thanks for calling in, Stacy.
All right, so now that the cat's out of the bag with all the songs being covers, let's talk about Crucial Taunt. So this song's called Fire. It's the first one that we hear in the movie. It's originally done by Jimi Hendrix, and it came out in 1967.
I mean, what do we say? It's a classic. It is like one of the classic rock tunes. We don't get to hear much of it out of Crucial Taunt in the movie.
Well, we get to hear the first verse, several choruses, and the way that she ends it, but we don't get many verses. I will say that.
I guess, yeah, that's what it is. There's a lot of other stuff intercut. But I think it's a pretty fire cover.
Absolutely. I think that this, in terms of the 4 songs that we have to to compare, this is the closest to the original song for my money.
I would agree with you there, and that's why I feel like I have less to say about it, because it is just so faithful to the original that the line doesn't deviate that much.
I think that's why it makes such an impression. The first song that you hear from Crucial Taunt is this song that you should know if you know rock and roll music.
Come on, Stacy.
But yeah, I definitely think it's super impressive for them to come out the gate and really kill this Jimi Hendrix song, because it just gets me excited to hear more Crucial Taunt songs as the movie unfolds.
And so the next song featured in the film by Crucial Taunt is the song Touch Me, which, first of all, I love the way this song is introed, because the I got $5,000, we got $5,000, like mixes in so well to it as it fades in. But so this song is originally by a band called Private Life. I didn't know Private Life before this recording. Did you, Shawn?
No, I didn't. I'm now happy to know about it, because I really dig the original version of this song.
The original version is dope, and it's crazy. This is the most digging I feel like I've had to do so far, because Private Life, there is no Wikipedia page for this band. They don't have that basic level of research available. I had to find some weird like archive of like 80s metal site, like an old school website, like a GeoCities website, like with pages that you click next, and it told me a little bit about Private Life. So the story goes that they were discovered by none other than Eddie Van Halen as he was passing through their hometown of Shreveport, Louisiana.
Okay.
He really liked the sound of the vocalist and decided to go ahead and get involved with developing the band, and I think helping produce some of their albums. I'm not sure in an official capacity or not, but the keyboardist from Private Life, Jennifer Blakeman, went on to program keyboards and synthesizers for Van Halen, most notably on their album OU812.
Oh, cool.
Yeah, so she was a big part of Van Halen's sound at one point in time, and later went on to tour with Billy Idol and Savage Garden before becoming an executive in the music publishing side of things. But you can definitely hear in the Private Life original version of Touch Me the sort of Van Halen influence. I'm going to play you a little.
Oh, yeah.
The way the guitar just crawls up the neck and the sort of arpeggios that are going on with the synthesizer. This is all like trademark classic Van Halen stuff.
Yeah.
And like the rest of the song, I wouldn't necessarily lump with Van Halen. It's more In Excess or something. It's more that side of what was going on. But like that like, I don't know if that's the chorus or the pre-chorus, but whatever that was, so Eddie.
Yeah, that's super interesting. I did not know any of that.
Nice. This listeners, this is like the first time I've brought surprising information to Shawn on this here radio show.
Hey, we can all be surprised by things.
I know. I just usually you work harder than me, and you have all the good stuff. So I was excited to give you that little tidbit.
Well, I still got a real big one coming, baby.
Oh.
I will say one of the things that I really like about the Private Life version of this song that the Crucial Taunt song seems to have left behind is the way that it takes the bass breaks. And the Crucial Taunt version sort of does it, but it doesn't have that bass up front mixed with the guitar. The guitar absolutely rips at the beginning of this song.
It sure does.
I'm like so pumped going into this song immediately. Alternatively, the Crucial Taunt, this is not to take anything away from this cover because I've loved this version of the song for so long, but it doesn't have that same feel with the shredding guitar and that prominent bass up front. I mean, the bass is there, but it's different. And like there's no shredding guitar in there for the opening.
Yeah, you're totally right. And I understand things have to be produced a little differently, I guess, for use in a film. But yeah, you're totally right. And I think that's if I have an overall critique of Crucial Taunt's recorded songs, it's just that they put the old smoothing filter on them and took away some of the jagged edges that made the originals of these songs so cool.
Musically, I would agree with you, but vocally, I would not agree with you because Tia's vocals are so raw and emotional. I really feel that's the deep connection for Touch Me, is she really matches the like raw vocals that I'm getting from the Private Life version of it.
Okay. Yes, you're totally right there.
Now, Dustin, quick question about this song, okay? So, had Wayne not ruined the film stock, how successful do you think this video would have been on MTV and VH1? I think it would have been a pretty big hit, honestly.
Yeah. I think it's funny. The video that it reminds me of is Everybody Walk the Dinosaur. If you've ever seen that one. Which, it's only as deep as like the whole caveman thing that I guess was in.
Yeah.
But yeah, no, I think it would have, I would have torn up the airwaves. I think it legitimately could have been a hit.
Yes, everyone in the band was the epitome of 90s rock band attractive.
Yeah, totally.
And they barely had any clothes on. That video would have been massive, I think.
It's too bad we'll never see it completed.
Yeah, it's just too bad there was actually film in that camera. Next up in the Crucial Taunt playlist, we have Why You Want to Break My Heart, which was originally done by Dwight Twilley in 1984. I had no idea this song existed. Dustin, did you know that this song existed?
I didn't know this song existed. I didn't know this dude existed. I didn't know much of anything about Dwight Twilley. I looked up a little bit about him if you want to hear.
Hey, hit me with it, man.
I mean, he was a singer-songwriter inspired, like so many of his peers, by the Beatles. He was label mates at one point in time with Tom Petty, and actually he sings backup on Breakdown and American Girl.
No shit.
Tom Petty. Yeah.
Wow.
And I just personally, I wouldn't be surprised at all if like this guy was on the list of influences for bands like Big Star or Cheap Trick, like the sort of Midwest Central Americana rock bands. Cheap Trick especially. And Cheap Trick, it boggles my mind that they're not on this soundtrack. They're from Rockford, Illinois, which is just the closest place to Aurora, I think, that a big famous band could be from. But I do feel like throughout both Wayne's World movies, I feel like there's a Cheap Trick heart beating at the center of it.
Yeah.
Even though we don't hear them, like I feel that sort of presence. That's Northern Midwest rock to me.
Honestly, I totally understand what you're saying and I agree with you, but it's not a thing that I ever really thought about. And I love Cheap Trick.
Yeah. Well, good. Or I'd have to end this relationship right now. So this is one where the movie version of this song, it doesn't do a ton for me. And it totally has to do with the production of the song. I mean, I think we've established Tia Carrere's vocals are on point.
Yeah, they're very good.
On all of these.
Yes.
But the production of this one, it especially bothers me because it's like Van Halen's Why Can't This Be Love? It feels like about 1,000 different early 90s country songs. It sounds like All I Want by Toad the Wet Sprocket. Like it's got that, whatever that sameness is, it's got it. Nothing in this song is going to poke you.
Well, that's true, but it did add that little like in-between guitar riff. I don't know if you noticed that.
So, versus...
See, there's a little guitar riff right here in the Crucial Taunt version. Right here. There's like a little...
Yeah. Like a Mark Knopfler Dire Straits thing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I really like that. I love that addition, honestly.
Okay.
Because the Dwight Twilley version is slower. So like that little filler riff helps speed the song up for me mentally.
Okay. Yeah. I respect that.
And it's interesting the influences and the people that Dwight Twilley was around, because that doesn't match up with how my brain hears Why You Want to Break My Heart. When I hear his version of it, I hear like Christopher Cross yacht rock song.
Oh, interesting. And by the way, no, these are speculations. I have no idea if Cheap Trick folks listened to Dwight Twilley. This is totally in my head. It just makes sense to me. And I listened to some more of his discography, so like I feel like I got a little feel for it.
Sure.
Totally made up. Totally speculative. Just want to put that on the record.
Gotcha.
I didn't realize this song was from 84. I think he was most active or most regarded for his 70s material.
Do you like the Twilly version of this song since you're not big on the Crucial Taunt version of this song, or are you not a big fan of either of these?
I don't want to poo-poo it. I don't want to go say I don't like it. Yeah. It's overall, it's a song that doesn't super appeal to me. It's not grating. It's not like something I don't want to listen to either.
Fair.
I'm just, I would say I'm pretty meh on both of them. I'm more meh on this than any of the other songs.
Well, it's the
movie. It's the ballad.
Yeah, it's the ballad song, so.
And I never liked those. And we've showed
Right. Yeah.
in our history I never liked those. So I don't like this one that much either. And so that leaves us with the big finale.
Oh man, such a finale.
Ballroom Blitz. Originally, if you didn't know, by Sweet.
From 1973.
Again, it's another classic among the classics. It's one of those songs I assume everyone knows, but of course not everyone. What's your take on Crucial Taunt's take on this song?
Again, I feel it's pretty straightforward. It's very similar to their Fire cover in terms of they're not doing a lot of things that are going to separate it from Sweet's version outside of Tia's vocals, which I think are, once again, super upfront and powerful, and it helps make it sound like its own thing, even though musically not much has changed.
So here's my take on this one. I think at the heart of Ballroom Blitz, it is sort of like almost a folksy, what you might call a traveling song, like a Bob Dylan style song with just, it's anything with that beat that matches like the rhythm of almost horses in a wagon on the road, that sort of shuffle. And that's a lot of glam has that shuffle. Right. That's a kind of a quintessential glam thing. I feel like the version in the film, the Crucial Taunt version, doesn't quite know what it wants to be. And what I'm missing is the Sweet version feels like a machine gun.
Okay.
The guitars, the vocals, the drums, everything packed together feels like a machine gun. And this one leans in a more like kind of folksy direction, but then the chorus goes hard again, and I just feel like it's going back and forth a little bit.
Oh, okay, sure.
One place specifically, and it's a little thing. It's kind of like your little guitar riff that you thought brought it home on the other song. This one kind of kills it for me, and it's this. It's her vocals in the chorus. She's just sort of yelling offbeat from the rest of the action, versus one of the hallmarks of the Sweet version is listen how tight the vocals, the background falsetto vocals, and then the drum and bass section are together. It's like one knife cutting at the same time. It's like lightning. The other thing that bothers me real quick about the Crucial Taunt version of Ballroom Blitz is they take out the fuzzy electric guitar and they put in this like clean, I'm talking out of my depth here, but it's like a Telecaster sound. It's like a clean guitar. It just, I don't dig it.
Yeah, well, I think that's the difference in the 90s and the 70s more than anything there.
Yeah, I guess so. I mean, it's just like someone had the foresight to go, this would be a badass song, and then someone else had the idea to mess it all up.
Sure. I don't even think that it's messing it all up. I have listened to the Crucial Taunt version of this song more than I've listened to the Sweet version of this song in my lifetime.
Oh, wow.
When I hear the Sweet version of this song, I think of the ending to Wayne's World. So, I don't know. I like their cover, but I understand your critiques from it as well.
Okay, yeah. I mean, that's fair, and I'm on the other side of the fence. I've listened to the Sweet song many, many, many times, and I had forgotten it was in Wayne's World until getting ready for this episode.
All right, so now I'm going to drop the big reveal of the episode. Dustin, are you ready? You do not know what this is.
I don't know what this is.
Crucial Taunt, the band from this movie,
yes,
was a real band.
Was a real band?
There was a real band called Crucial Taunt. It had 2 members, and Mike Myers went to high school with the members of the band.
No way.
Their names are David Barrett and Scott Matthews. They are known as Crucial Taunt. Mike asked for their permission to use the name in the movie because he thought it was cool.
It's a Kramer situation.
Yeah.
Wow. I wonder if they played these songs these covers.
They did not. I have a track list
No way.
of So I'm gonna send you two posts right now, so that way you can see both of the members, and then you can also see the track list from their album they released when they were like teenagers. You can see them on the back of the cover as well. But no, they did not do any of these songs. I assume that they're all original tracks.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, these are not covers. Amazing Grace aside.
Right.
It's such a good name that I did wonder how they came up with it, because sometimes you just don't have that magic in band names in movies. And this one felt real, and lo and behold, it is.
Yeah.
That's so cool. How'd you dig that up?
I to be truthful, I don't remember. I don't remember. I came across that first Instagram post that I sent you, and I was like, wait, what the fuck is that? And then I found Dave Barrett's Instagram. It's called Dave Barrett Trio. I saw his post with the track list and the stuff about the band members and their instruments that they play, and I was like, you gotta be fucking kidding me. This is the craziest thing I could find.
Oh, wow. He's still a man of many guitars. That's cool.
Yeah, he was. I watched him do like a cover set on his YouTube. He's just like, it looked like a Twitch upload of him just rocking out, playing random covers and stuff. It was pretty cool.
Hell yeah.
Yeah.
I wonder if could they perform as Crucial Taunt, or was that?
Ooh, I don't know.
Was that gobbled up by Paramount?
Yeah, it could have been. I honestly don't know.
Still. So cool.
Yeah, super cool.
Okay, Dave Barrett, if you ever decide to play as Crucial Taunt, the songs from Wayne's World.
Oh my God.
We will do everything we can to be at that show.
Yes. Oh, yeah, count me in. And before we forget, there are two other fake bands, though we do not hear any music from them. There are two other bands mentioned in Wayne's World. Do you know their names, Dustin?
That's right. I know one is the shitty Beatles.
Are they any good?
They suck.
Oh, so it's not just a clever name. Do you do you remember the other fake band that is mentioned by Meatloaf?
Oh, the Meatloaf cameo, so good. No, I can't remember the other name.
The Jolly Green Giants.
The Jolly Green Giants.
Mm-hmm.
And we don't know if they're good or not.
We do not get any information on if the Jolly Green Giants are good, but we do know that Crucial Taunt can wail from Meatloaf.
Oh, I love it when Meatloaf shows up in an acting role.
I mean, it's so small, but he's got a very memorable scene.
I believe that's the first time we get a Garth Gadget.
Oh, yeah, well, at the Gasworks, yes. Mm-hmm. And I also feel it would be a disservice to talk about fictional music and not bring up the greatest roadie to ever live, Del Preston from Wayne's World 2.
Oh, Del Preston. I love everything about the roadie stuff. I love the roadie training. I love that was their way to get Farley in this one more.
Yeah.
Because, that man's commitment to flopping down for physical comedy is unmatched.
Yeah, him getting pelted with those tennis balls is forever funny. For the little bit of screen time that he gets, he has such great lines. 'Cause I got no place else to go. I still say that in regular life, so...
Yeah, it's a very it's up there with Jim Carrey's our pets' heads are falling off. One of the most quotable lines of despair.
So good. Yeah, Del Preston, that story he tells about beating the shop owner and his son to death with their own shoes, it just gets more and more haunting the more times he tells it.
Yeah. The wide-eyed reactions to it are so good.
When did you become a nut bar?
After the machine gun posts.
Oh, man. All right, so before we close out here, Dustin, I got to ask you the normal question. Mm-hmm. If Crucial Taunt was releasing music in our reality, would you subscribe to it? Would you be a fan? Would you be listening to their music? How successful do you think they would have been?
I think I personally would give it a shot. I think they have room to grow, but I would totally give it a shot. I think they would be very successful, actually. I think they did everything right, especially for their moment in music history. They could have flipped this band into the real world, probably, if they really wanted to.
I totally agree with that. You know, they had such a presence in that first movie, and even with all of them being covers, though we didn't realize 2 of them were, it still would have worked just fine.
I would love to hear what original music they could come up with too.
Yes, I would be very interested in that. I kind of wish that they had done that in the second one, of just doing one original Crucial Taunt song for them to have played at Wayne Stock. I think that would have been pretty cool. Or even just have Tia come up as Cassandra with Aerosmith and do like a duet. That would have been freaking cool.
Can you imagine scheduling Aerosmith in 1993 or whenever they shot this?
Oh, yeah. No joke. But I do agree. A Crucial Taunt would have been successful. You know, even Bobby Kahn said in Wayne's World 2, she's got at least 3 singles on that first album. So that's
right.
a good first record to put out. If you got 3 singles on there, you're going to do pretty good.
That is right. Well, hey, I feel like we covered a lot of Wayne's World today. And I just want to say thanks, everyone, for joining us. I guess all that's left to say beyond that is party on, Shawn.
Party on, Dustin. Oh, and Dustin, we should do the radio ending.
Watching movies, jamming out. K-Flix 198.4 Fiction Radio.